Hi friends, Sarah here. Glad that you guys are able to join us today. I have the privilege of interviewing a good friend of mine. This is Ashley Rohde, and we are so excited to have her to share with you today. Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your kids, how long you've been at Substance, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I have been part of Mom's Group since 2019, and then I started attending Substance on Sunday mornings in 2021. I have three kiddos. Stella is my oldest, she's 6. Aria is 5, and Gavin is 3.
And I have been to your house and have seen your kids, and they are so great.
Thanks.
They're so cute. They're downstairs usually, and then they run upstairs, and then they have to ask you a question, and then and you're always like, "Would you like a snack?" And they're like, "Mm-hmm." Like,
Yep, accurate.
Yeah, you have beautiful kids.
Thank
I love
you.
them.
Thanks.
Well, I have seen God do a deep work in your life the past couple of years. It's actually been quite transformational.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I really wanted Ashley to share with you guys today, because she is a great example of allowing God to come in and like transform her life and then use it in her daily life and with her children. And the topic today, as we've discussed, is the power of our words. And so I would like to know, what have you seen change in your life with how you speak over your children or to your children, or using your words since God's done this great transformation in your life?
Yeah, so I definitely used to only focus on what I didn't speak well with my kids back before I really stepped back into my faith. I'd worry that I was damaging my relationships with them, and I didn't really intentionally speak life into them either. A lot of the times I was really frustrated when I was interacting with them, and I just didn't feel great about how we communicated. So now that I've really grown in my relationship with God and I have a personal relationship with Him, I recognize how important it is to speak positivity over them and just life into them in general. So things definitely shifted a lot in the last, I'd say, about year and a half. Don't get me wrong, I definitely still make mistakes plenty of the time. But when I do, and I know that something I said wasn't right or kind to them, I literally go to the Lord. I pray, and then I go to my kids and I apologize. And the really awesome thing that I've brought into this is I tie the gospel into that conversation with them when I apologize.
You know, I think we've talked about it a lot as moms, how important it is that our kids see us make mistakes and they see us apologize, and they see us, how do we come to them once we've messed up, because we're kind of expecting them, we want to teach them how to do the same. But I love that you take it a step further, because it's not just about, okay, mommy messed up, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? But you tie the gospel into teaching them and training them. Tell us more about that. Unpack that for us.
Yeah. So since I stepped back into my faith, it has been this internal question inside of, how do I effectively teach them that God isn't dependent, God's love is not dependent on how they act.
Yeah.
Over the last summer, I actually read a book that was recommended by one of my sisters, and it was just so helpful. It gave attainable tips on ways to application of tying the gospel into your day-to-day routines of daily life, just everything that you do as moms. And dads, I should say. It's called Habits of the Household, and it's by Justin Whitmore Earley. I highly recommend it. I've recommended it to a lot of people. Anytime I mess up, or one of the kids even does, when we're trying to resolve it, I have a chance to talk about God's unending grace and love, and how that is always available to them no matter what the circumstances are. Another thing I really do love to do as well is I share with my kids when I've prayed and asked God for help in different circumstances. And the thing that brings so much joy to me is then I see them light up and they're like, wait, I can do that too? And I'm like, yeah, He's literally always there. He's always available.
It's beautiful when we're learning something and God's teaching us something, and then we engage with our kids in that we learn together. You know,
Yes.
it's a beautiful thing that I've experienced that too, where things God's teaching me, they're learning, but we're learning it all together.
Yes.
And I think it is so important that they understand that there's nothing that they can do to make God stop loving them or to make us stop loving them.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
So
I remember
true.
having so many struggles with my firstborn. And, it seemed like it was just so hard. It was like everything was just a hard situation. And I remember starting to tell him over and over again, there is nothing that you can do that'll make me stop loving you. And God is the same way. And just if they can get that mantra over and over, what freedom to live in the gospel, right?
Yeah.
So huge.
It is.
Well, let's talk specifically about how we speak over our kids, okay, and what we say about our kids, maybe to ourselves or to other people.
Yeah.
I know you did a little challenge with this not too long ago.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, I did. So back in September, I was definitely struggling a lot with my youngest, kiddo Gavin. He is a very intense little boy. I know that there's people watching that have met him,
Come
and
on.
they would agree.
Cheers. I have felt
Yes,
the intensity
exactly.
of little boys.
So I was noticing that my words towards him were coming out pretty harshly a lot of the time. At the end of September, during some time with the Lord, he really challenged me to take the whole month of October. I was definitely like, ooh, the whole month of October to not speak negatively about any of my kids to anyone, not even to my husband. So within a few days, I started to notice a shift already. I was getting creative with how I was handling hard situations, not only with him, but with my girls too. And I was also praying in moments when I wanted to complain. And that was really powerful in and of itself. I started observing their behaviors differently and also spoke out each time they were doing something awesome. It truly made an impact and also gave me a lot more self-awareness on how I'm talking about them with my friends and my family.
Yes. So fasting, speaking negative words. You know, we have a fast coming up here in January. We might even be in the middle of it probably as you guys are watching this. And maybe that would be something that you might want to fast, is speaking negatively about your kids to others. Because there is something when we stop doing something that we normally do, it does cause this internal awareness of like, whoa, what am I saying? And how is this affecting them?
Right.
You know, words matter and affect our kids even when they don't hear them. Because what we say affects what we believe, what we think, and it determines how we act, right?
Totally.
To our kids.
Absolutely.
So even though we feel like we're just blowing off steam, and I'm not saying that we can't talk and process through parenting stuff with our friends, like that is valuable, but what is our purpose? Is our purpose just to blah all negative stuff about our kids, or is our purpose, okay, I need to talk through this so I can figure out what am I feeling?
Yeah.
What do I need to work through, and how can I help my kids, right?
Yeah.
So congrats, kudos for doing that challenge.
Thanks. Thank you.
That's a toughie. So give us some ideas. What are some ways that we could speak life into our kids? Do you have some suggestions?
Yeah. Okay. So I picked 4 things to share today. So the first one is choosing your words wisely. I think it's always important to remember something that has already been shared by some of the speakers this year, that it starts with you. Like that's really, and you were just saying that too, like it starts with you and your heart. What is your own internal dialogue? How are you choosing to view yourself, and what are you believing? Because really it always comes down to our identity in Christ.
Yeah.
It's so important to remember that is who we are and who we want our kids to be too. So we want them to be a child of the King. A verse that hit me over the summer surrounding this is found in James 3:4-5, and this is the verse. Look at the ships also. Though they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are guided by a very small rudder wherever the will of the pilot directs. So also, the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things.
Wow.
Our words hold so much weight. So we need to be intentional on how we are speaking to our kids.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
mean, that point right there is like money.
Yeah.
Really, it is. And that scripture, it's like if you really unpack it, that tiny little rudder,
Yeah.
the whole ship will move. So what are we speaking and how is it moving? Our
Right.
family, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, number 2.
Yeah. So number 2 is speaking directly to them about them. It is always amazing to see my kids beam when I share something I see in them, and also what they have internally that's wonderful and God-given. They hold on to it with such excitement, and I've seen firsthand how it helps their confidence, not only in their abilities, but also in how God is molding them into a kingdom giant.
Yes.
I view our words to them like kind of like how kindness works a lot of the time. It spreads to others and into other areas of their life. When I tell them they are doing great at X, Y, or Z, or that they handled a situation really well and used the fruits of the Spirit, it gives them momentum to keep going that route, which it's just so amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then the third one is speaking out loud about our kids to others when they are listening in. And this is so powerful. I can think about more than one instance where I've shared a hard situation with a friend while my kids were present, and it's never resulted in anything fruitful. If anything, it creates some frustrations. I'm still challenged by it from time to time. I think it's important to share big or small wins with our friends and family, especially when your kids are present. They are little sponges and they take it all in. I think it helps build their self-esteem and confidence too when they hear us talking so positively about them.
Yeah. I think that's one that I just want to pause on a little bit because over the years, so I have an 11-year-old, so I feel like I've been in the mom world for 11 years. And over the years, I have been so surprised how moms feel so free to just share whatever they're thinking about their kids to their friends, and their kids are standing right there.
Yeah.
And I don't care if their kid is 1 or if their kid is 6. Like, that child is absorbing and understanding bits and pieces of what those mamas are saying.
Yeah.
And I know those mamas aren't trying to, they're not trying to speak negatively over their kids. They're just they need a moment with their friend, right?
Yeah.
But I just want to encourage you moms that as you need to process things about your kids with others, I want to encourage you to do that in safe spaces.
Yes.
And to be really careful to not step into that when your littles or even your bigs are close by, because they will take it in and they'll receive it, and it's just not healthy. And so I just want to encourage you, just be aware. What are you saying when you're talking about your kids in front of your friends? And is this something that you want spoken over them? If not, wait to talk about it until a later time.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So number 4 is using affirmations. I love this one. To speak life into them. This is something that only takes maybe 1 minute, and it can have such a big impact. You can get them involved too and ask them what they would like to say over themselves. Just in October, I actually started doing this with my middle kiddo, Ari. She had some issues at school, and I was like, maybe this will help with some of that. So, and it had such a big impact. Literally on the way to school, we had 3 different things that we would say. I'd say it, and she would repeat after me, and then we'd do it 3 times. And literally the following week, her teacher was like, "She's doing a lot better." Like, it definitely makes a huge impact.
Can you share those 3 things?
Yeah,
like
sure.
What you said.
So the first one was, I am a good listener. And then I am a leader. And also, I have the power to choose for good. Those were her 3 that I helped her with some of them. But, and actually, a couple weeks in, my oldest Stella is now doing it as well, which is really awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Following suit.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And the teacher has seen a change.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's just like proof in the pudding, right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we are getting to our closing time. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to share?
So I would definitely say we covered a lot of things today, but I just want all of you moms to keep in mind that just one small change can make such a big impact on your kids, and it can offer further changes to happen, like almost a domino effect. The last thing I want for you mamas to try and do is all of these things at once and feel overwhelmed. So I would just say start off really small, and I can promise you that you'll see an impact on your kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. There is power in our words, moms, and we just pray that God will just give you the words to speak, and we just speak life over your kids and
Yes.
your children today and in the days to come. So,
Yes.
thanks, Ashley.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys later.